Hey everyone, and welcome to Scatterer's Homestead. I am Candy, and today I want to talk to you about a topic that many of us face at some point in our lives. It's called playing catch up. We all know that life doesn't always go as planned, and sometimes we find ourselves in a situation where we feel like we've been left behind. The idea of playing catch up can be overwhelming, but it's important to remember that there's always a way to make it positive in some way. So first of all, let's just talk about cleaning. Cleaning can be one of the most tedious tasks, but it also is one of the most important. It's essential to maintaining a clean and organized space to promote a healthy and positive mindset. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, try breaking down the tasks into smaller, manageable chunks. This will make the process less daunting and help you make progress one step at a time. Now, what about cooking? Cooking can be fun and it can be rewarding, especially if you see what I'm doing right here. These are beans that I've collected from my own garden. I grew them last summer, dried them, and I've had them in jars waiting to be eaten. It's a really rewarding experience even when I discover new things, like right here you can see it's going in an Instant Pot. Now here's some fun advice. Did you know that it only takes 30 minutes to cook dried beans in an Instant Pot? Cooking is an excellent way to express your creativity in the kitchen. Instead of feeling left behind, you could focus on developing your cooking skills and experiment with new recipes. As you can see here, I start off with beef, but I'll show you throughout the video how this is going to transform into an amazing meal, and most of it is coming from our land. Here you can see we have beef. We have not butchered one of our own cows yet, but we do go and swap our pork with our neighbors. And so they get our pork and we get beef. Let's move on to laundry. Laundry can be a time-consuming task, but it is an essential part of maintaining a clean and comfortable home. I have to admit, this is my worst task. I cannot handle laundry, and no matter how many times I try to purge, it seems like I just don't have enough space in my tiny home for items, so that's something I still have to work towards. But to make the process smoother, I try setting aside a specific time each week for laundry. Yes, I try, and I fail multiple times, but I want to be organized, and I will continue making these goals and seeing if I can attain them. But setting aside time each week will help you avoid procrastination and ensure that your clothes are always fresh and clean. Consider that. Playing catch up doesn't have to be a negative or a stressful experience. By breaking down the tasks, focusing on personal growth, and investing in your week, you can make it a positive and rewarding journey. Everyone's days and weeks look different and seasons change. For me, I am now an empty nester and I hold a job outside of the home. I used to be a homeschool mom, and so as life changes, our schedules change, but it doesn't stop that we need to continue setting goals. Here you can see I'm pulling out all of the produce from my downstairs pantry. I'm making chili, and with that I am going to be using tomato sauce and celery and carrots from the garden, and I'm going to be adding some spices, and I have a special ingredient that I will show you later on. It's something I grew up with and it just has to go into my chili. I don't have a specific recipe that I follow with most of my meals. I am one of those people that looks at my ingredients and makes it work. But check out this garlic. I had harvested this last summer and I was amazed at how huge the heads were. I'm pretty happy with it. It was actually the first time that I grew garlic. And last year, I ended up being, or I should say last fall, I ended up being quite sick and was fighting with weather and appointments out in Calgary that I never got around to planting my garlic. So I'm going to try and plant it now this spring. Hopefully it will work. I was told it can, and it's just sensitive to the area that we live in because it's a short growing season. I have yet to process my carrots any other way than just washing them and freezing them. They work to put into soups and to put into chilies and casseroles, but otherwise I do tend to dislike them frozen. I would rather learn how to store them in a different way. As for spices, I just add a little bit of extra onion powder and garlic powder, cumin, and a lot of chili powder, and I added some cayenne and salt and pepper. Oh, and I can't forget, I added chili pepper flakes because I always like a little bit of heat to the chili. Tonight we are going to a potluck at our church. This is why I'm making the chili and why I'm making so much. I'm hoping that I will be able to keep some leftovers, that Sheldon and I will have plenty to eat this week. Now you're seeing the tomato sauce. I've shared with you how I've done this in the past, but all I do is I wash my tomatoes, cube them up in a processor, and then I strain out all the skin and everything after cooking. And I can then make this sauce into anything, marinaras, or put it into a chili. The beans are done. I've been waiting for the venting to go down, and you can see that this is dropped, and I just checked, turned it to venting. It's not giving any more air, so now we're just gonna open it up. We're gonna take a look. So we're gonna test one of them. So look at that. You can just see it just crushes. Perfect. So this is taking dried beans that I grew from my garden, and instead of soaking them for an entire day, all I need to do is put them in the Instant Pot. And as you saw me on mine, I just hit bean or chili, and that will automatically take it to 30 minutes, and I just let it start. So the otherwise what you can do is you can put it on a high pressure level and put it in for 30 minutes, and then you're done. So I'm gonna add these beans to the chili, and then I have one more secret ingredient to add, and the chili will just have to sit and simmer and we'll be done. I grew many different types of beans in my garden this last year in anticipation that I was going to eat a lot of different types of beans because they're good for you. But this is a game changer. For someone who doesn't give herself a lot of time to cook, being able to cook up a homegrown meal within minutes is something I have dreamt of. The last secret ingredient is molasses. This is something I grew up using when I was a little girl. My mother always made chili with molasses, and she put quite a bit in there, and it gives it a really rich, sweet flavor, almost a smoky flavor. And I'm making a really large batch, so it will take quite a bit. Molasses is a byproduct of sugar beets or sugar cane. You could also use something like maple syrup. Now, maple syrup is something that Sheldon and I harvest from our own property, so it is something that I could change to. It's just molasses is what I grew up with, and I've never thought to change it, but now as I'm talking to you, I actually think I should try. Now that my work day is done, I just want you to know that it is never too late to start working on adding routines like this to your day. The key is to approach it with a positive attitude and a willingness to learn and to grow. So I encourage you to get started, and remember, you might have some limitations, but that does not mean you're limited.